Welcome to the program. Kisumu County Governor Ranguma has maintained that he will not appear before the Senate, which is probing an audit report of the 47 counties. Speaking just hours before the Muranga Governor Murang'a presented himself to the Senate Public Accounts Committee in honor of the summonses, Ranguma insisted he had sent his county finance officer and chief finance officer with all the information and detailed responses to the questions raised. He said he would not bow to pressure from the Senate. Ranguma is one of the 4 governors against whom a motion was passed to have their funds withheld until they honor the orders to show up and explain their 2013 expenditure. The Kisumu governor was speaking in Kisumu while launching a strategic initiative to connect all households within Kisumu's formal settlements with clean drinking water.
And I believe
even as governors and the court team seek to rally Kenyans behind their push for a referendum, the East African Pentecostal Church has called on leaders to abandon the move. The church's National Governing Council meeting in Nakuru asked politicians to avoid raising political temperatures unnecessarily, barely a year after the last general elections.
In our opinion, as church leaders and on behalf of our members, we are saying this is not right at this time. People shouldn't be given a chance to do other developments that concern them. So it is very important, our politicians, including our governors and all who are involved, to cool down political temperatures.
Moving on, the effects of county funds delay were felt in Kisumu County when medical staff in Kisumu Level 6 Hospital threatened to go on strike due to salary delays. Nurses and doctors from the Kisumu Level 6 had threatened to put down their tools and go on the streets to protest over unpaid salaries. Speaking at the Kisumu Level 6 Hospital, the Kisumu County Executive for Health, Sarah Omache, blamed the salaries issue on budgetary constraints at the national level, which the county government could do nothing about. However, Omache assured medical staff that the delay will never occur again. The county director for health, Dr. Gregory Otumo, said the hospital handles patients from 5 counties who would suffer if the health workers were to go on strike.
We had not received salaries from the National Treasury to our Treasury, but when we received it the other day, we have done our very best so that we have actually paid our health sector. They were very, very anxious, though we had written letters to tell them that as soon as the money would come, we would pay. Yesterday, we had a discussion with the health workers, representatives, who were actually wanting to down their tools.
Kenindia has reported 6% growth in pre-tax profit for the first half of the year. During the period, Kenindia posted 1.7 billion shillings, up from 1.5 billion a year earlier. The growth was driven by increased business the company has been getting from its operations in the continent. During the 6-month period, gross written premiums climbed 23% to 4.9 billion shillings against 4 billion shillings a year earlier. However, a combination of claims from the Kenya Airports Authority following the JKIA fire and the Thailand food claim during the period, the net claims grew by 36% to 2.1 billion shillings. The total income of that company during the period under review went up by 19%, with Kenindia posting itself in the reinsurance industry and even eyeing the bigger oil and gas market. Still in this bulletin, men and women who are recruited in the recent police recruitment drive in Narok North have asked the National Police Service Commission to explain where they had their complaints about in the exercise in their county. Now, those whose recruitment have since been nullified complained bitterly, saying there were no irregularities witnessed in their centers, yet they were included in the 36 counties whose outcome was thrown out by the Commission.
Funga left again.
Mimi kwanza nimeuza everything that I had. Sasa nashangaa nitaanzia wapi? Kwa sababu nimenunua kila kitu. Nimetumia over 30,000.
I can barely say ilikuwa very transparent, ilikuwa very fair, lakini we were shocked after realizing that it was ranked among the counties zenye zinasemekana zilikuwa na corruption, because hakukuwa na any corruption, hakukuwa na anything yenye ilikuwa inaendelea unfairly.
And a man in Muranga is nursing at the Murang'a Sub-District Hospital after a drinking spree turned into a deadly assault. John Chege Ngoiri's private parts were chopped off by a drinking buddy after he allegedly refused to buy him drinks. Mashirima Kapome has the rest of that.
John Chege Ngoiri trembles in pain on his hospital bed at Murang'a Sub-District Hospital in Murang'a County. The pain evident on his face, his bruises barely enough to disclose what more is beneath the surface.
Alinipiga, alafu kafanya vile alifanya huku chini na huku kwenye macho. Akakivua.
Huko chini unasema alifanya nini?
Alitoa mali mizigo yangu.
Chege claims his assailant attacked while he was heading home from a drinking den around 10 p.m. last night. His greatest mistake was that he refused to buy beer for his attacker.
Naitwa John. Jina hiyo jina sijui.
Doctors at the hospital who operated on the traumatized Chege say a section of his private parts were chopped off, but his reproductive system somehow remains functional.
There was a hernia injury at the mid-penile shaft, but the urethra was intact. So we've done a surgical toilet successfully, and the patient is in stable condition as we are speaking.
Alipatikana area Mukomo secondary, akiwa amekatwa sehemu zake nyeti za siri na kijana ambaye anaitwa John Shira Kimanga.
Police are searching for the assailant who is still at large. Mashirima Kapombe, KTN.
The Council of Governors Chairman Isaac Ruto stood his ground on the call for referendum, telling the South Rift professionals that the issues the governors had were fundamental ones bordering on the future of the counties. He, however, sought to clarify that the Council of Governors has no connection with CORD on the referendum push.
We as Council of Governors, we are proposing to do a bill so that we take on board anything else which I feel is critical. Then we take on board. Then we bring it as a bill. You say yes or no to the bill. Senate ikikubali, ikikataa, sawa sawa. Parliament ikikubali, ikikataa, no problem. It proceeds to the referendum. We just want the right thing. You are in Jubilee, you are in CORD, you are sisi, whatever it is, we don't even care about parties. The question is, what is in the best interests of Kenyans? After that, twende uchaguzi.
Passengers who were traveling from Mombasa were stranded for a day in Voi when their buses were stopped up by traffic police officers. The mobile court, which caught many PSV drivers unawares, saw some passengers delayed for over 10 hours at the Murang'a Town in Voi. The passengers who were left stranded after their drivers drove into the bush when they saw the police ahead. Some of the tourists who were traveling to Kisumu from Mombasa were forced to pay 30,000 shillings cash bail to be released. Now, over 61 vehicles were found to be defective, while some drivers of private vehicles were charged with speeding. Murang'a Town residents were thrown into a frenzy as those among them who have never set eyes on a big boat thronged the Murang'a-Sagana road to view for a view of that boat that was on transit. The boat that left Mombasa a few days ago was being transported to Kisumu and had been diverted to take a route with fewer footbridges, flyovers and overhang power lines. The residents forced the driver of the heavy hauling carrying the boat to stop at the Hohe petrol station in Muranga, where many of them touched it and took photographs. An enterprising couple has been traveling with a boat from Matu in Ukambani to make money from those seeking to have their pictures taken with the boat.
Hatujaiona meli ikipitia hapa na ndio sababu tulikuwa tunaifuata ili tuweze kuiona vizuri.
Mimi hata nilikuwa nyumbani nikasikia watu wanakimbia, hata nilikuwa dhani ni Uhuru anapita. Nikatoka mbio. Kuja kuona hata kitu sijaiona maishani.
Na tumefurahia kwa vile imepitia hapa.
Na ninakuja barabara nikakuta Mugithi imetembea. Na nikawa na furaha sana kwa vile Kenya hatujaona hiyo mambo.
Leo nimekuja kupiga picha watu wenye wanaangalia boat. Hata kama ieleweki ni meli ama ni boat, lakini tunaita boat.
Pan-African Strathmore Leos hoped their key players who took part in the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Glasgow will be available for the third leg of the Safaricom National Sevens Circuit, the Driftwood Sevens in Mombasa next week. The team is ranked 4th in the current standings after 2 outings and under coach Mitch Ochola, who is targeting a mass of maximum 22 points in Mombasa.
Pan-African Strathmore Leos played their first 2 legs of the Safaricom National Sevens Circuit without their main players who were away with the National Sevens team in Scotland for the Commonwealth Games. The absence of Michael Wanjala, Tony Owor and Billy Othiambo meant that coach Mitch Ochola fielded relatively new players.
It's a good thing to include young players because we are purely developmental. And what I would say is the likes of Billy, the likes of Mike were once rookies. And once they get a taste of how it feels out there, then it's out for them now to just explode to the next level.
The team is taking advantage of the weekend break to condition and get ready to stage a fight during the 3rd leg of the circuit in Mombasa on the 23rd and 24th of this month. They collected 15 points at the season open at Kabeberi Sevens and 13 points from the Dallas Sevens for a total of 28 points, same as Impala. The team is looking forward to welcoming back their main players in Mombasa.
The national team has not released them yet. So we're in the process of talking to them and seeing if we can get them possible, because if they come on board, it will be a different ballgame. At the end of the day, whether they play or not, Strathmore still has to play.
They remain the highest ranked university side on the standings in what seems like success in finding balance between studies and sports.
The future of these young men is what we really want to nurture. And this is something they call a hobby. And if you nurture the hobby and plus the sports and plus the academics, then you're creating a whole being. Because these are the future CEOs, the future MDs.
The end of Driftwood Sevens will pave the way for the Prince-Law Sevens in Nakuru and finally the Christie Sevens in Nairobi.
Right, that's pretty much how we wrap up things on KTN Newsdesk today. Remember, www.standardmedia.co.ke is the website you need to be looking out for all the stories that you do see on this particular bulletin and anything else that might interest you. We'll see you again for business. My name is Bonnie.